Is Tennessee a Final Four type of team again when we were just throwing dirt on them yesterday? Yeah, I mean, I go back to the A&M game, and I wanted to hear your take on it and Jimmy's take a lot, but I do think that they were incredibly hot behind the 3-point line. I think Tennessee was tired because they don't go deep enough. I completely agree with everything that Caleb has said, and I think he's been on the forefront of that for a long time, even though you've ripped him on the YouTube page. I don't believe that Tennessee lacks depth. I believe they don't utilize depth. So, yes, I think they're still a Final Four caliber team. They're going to have to use some sort of load management. And I'm not talking about not playing players, but playing them a little bit less to get fresh legs underneath them. I don't think a first-round bounce out of the SEC tournament would be necessarily a bad thing. Caleb, but yes, I think this is one of 8 teams that I look at, and I think in the nation is Final Four caliber. By the way, South Carolina looked great against Auburn. Travis points out that would be the other team in the SEC that I would point to.
Yeah, South Carolina isn't. I mean, they are. Lamont Paris is coach of the year in the SEC. I mean, there's not even a close second. He is by far the coach of the year in the SEC. So as for Tennessee, I'm going to give them credit first because yesterday. Now I know Arkansas is a 500 team, but it was a road game. So when you play a 500 SEC team on the road, that's the equivalent of playing a lower seed in the NCAA tournament. Wouldn't you say, Dave?
Yes, I can go with that.
Okay. What did Arkansas do yesterday? They went red hot from 3 in the first half. They couldn't miss anything. Tennessee, and this is why I say teams that go red hot from 3, that's not an excuse when you lose, because guess what? You're inevitably going to run into a team that's red hot from 3 in March, and you have to be able to withstand it. So what did Tennessee do yesterday? This is why they looked like such a veteran team. They played so smart. Everybody's going to talk about the second half where they ran away and won in dominating fashion, 46. Which is why they won 92-63. I look at the first half. Arkansas's at home. They can't miss from 3. They're playing up tempo, a way Tennessee doesn't like to play. Tennessee doesn't panic at all. What do? They turn to their go-to scorer in Dalton Connect, and they play their inside-out game in Jonas Adu, and they find who has got the hot hand, which yesterday was Jordan Gainey. Now, those are the 3 things you need to do on offense if the other team's red hot. You find your go-to scorer. You go to your go-to scorer in Dalton Connect. You go down low to Jonas Adu. And then you find which guy is hot from outside, whether that be Vescovi, Josiah-Jordan James, Jordan Gainey, Zakai Ziegler. And that's how you do this. And give a lot of credit to Zakai Ziegler. He didn't panic when things got out of hand. He kept things under control, which he does very well. So I think that's a very good sign for Tennessee that they were very smart and that they played like veterans. So I know that they dominated the second half, but them going into halftime with a lead when Arkansas was that red hot from 3 is quite honestly I think that's the biggest story of the day, is that they were able to go into halftime with a lead when Arkansas was unstoppable on offense and hitting everything.
No, I think that one of the things I was thinking about during the game last night is that we talked about, and we joked and probably overspoke a little bit, that Tennessee, if they need points in the tournament, needs to tell 4 guys to go stand over in the corner and let Dalton Connect score. Yes, you can do that, but you don't want to be too dependent on that, right?
Yeah, they shouldn't. They actually should turn to Jonas Adu first.
Okay. I can roll with that. But I really like Connect as a scorer.
No,
who's taking the last shot though? If you're down,
no, 1. Connect is the main scorer, but the offense goes as Jonas Adu goes. And if Jonas Adu is not a threat under the basket, then the whole offense they're not winning. This team goes as Adu goes, even though Connect is the best player. Like those Spurs teams, Dave. Tim Duncan was the best player, but they went as Manu went. Remember that? They went as Manu went. And if Manu didn't play well, the Spurs weren't going to win.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing with Dalton Connect. Now, to knock them, Tennessee had a 20-point lead with 13 minutes left to go in the game. Rick Barnes still played Adu, Connect, and Zakai Ziegler all 30 minutes. What are you doing, Rick? It was 13 minutes to go in the game, and you're up by 20, and you're still playing your starters 30 minutes and more.
There has to be a movie out there. Can anybody think of one that is a movie clip that's like, oh, Rick. I mean, that's what we need. We need like somebody who has played one. We're like, oh, Rick. That's what we need. Something along the lines of, but I'm not saying it's going to be nearly as good, but something along the lines of it has this meaning, but it doesn't say it.
You suck, you jackass.
Yeah. I mean,
and we don't want Peyton saying,
They're like, that is total bullshit.
That's hot.
Yeah, we need an all Rick one. Here's the thing, Caleb. I think you've come up with ideas and found me to be what? Very, very flexible, right?
right.
Like, when you came up with, by the way, tell us about the latest history videos that you have.
So the latest one is about how Jim Harbaugh restored Michigan. I've got one coming up on Kalen DeBoer and how he came up and how he's going to become how he got to Alabama in the first place. My best one, I want you guys to all take a look at it. It's a two-parter on the entire history of bowl games and the national championship and how it evolved in college football to begin with. And
well, when you get a chance to when you give Caleb a chance to plug something, buddy, he does it. So
wow, you asked me to shamelessly plug it, but okay.
No, it just went on a little long, I thought. By the way, Smoky Mountain Red found the email. So if you're a part of Hooker's Corner, you've won. Find that email and spam. And if you don't have it, email me, just david@thehooksports.com, and I'll get it taken care of. But he's not gonna. I think I'm flexible. But still, at the end of the day, you came to me with the idea of doing the history videos. And I was like, man, there's part of me that wishes he'd spend that time elsewhere. I was wrong. The videos have been great. They've picked up subscribers. One has like a couple of thousand views, and they're there forever, and they're awesome. But at some point in my life, I'm probably going to get past the point of being flexible and wrong. The old dog, new tricks, right? We can hope and sit here and say, man, wouldn't it be nice if Rick Barnes went deeper into his bench? Wouldn't it be nice if there was more of a free-flowing game and they got up and down the court? Wouldn't all this be nice? But are we really just kind of eating edibles when we think about that? Because, Caleb, I don't know that he's going to change at 76 years old. Isn't he 76?
Well, no, he's not 76. I don't think he's 70 yet, but that was nice to go there.
I think he's 70.
But here was why I could understand if you won a national championship. You've been to one Final Four in your career. How do you have how do you have this philosophy and say, my philosophy's worked, I'm great, even though I'm one of the most consistent underachievers in the history of the NCAA tournament? Okay? It's the same with Tony Bennett, the coach of Virginia, not the singer, okay?
Yes.
Tony Bennett.
But I do like that Tony Bennett. He's got a wacky style.
Tony Bennett was a defensive-focused team, believing all you got to do is focus on defense to win titles. And Virginia kept getting bounced out early because what have I always said, Dave? Scoring wins championships. Finally, after Virginia became the first number one team to lose, remember that? When they became the first number one seed to lose in the tournament? When they lost to UMBC in the first round?
Yes.
He revamped everything that season. Didn't sacrifice his defense, but he started saying, I need to make sure guys can get me buckets when they need to on offense. And he focused on offense. And what did he do the next year? He won the national title. And so you need a coach that's willing to change his philosophy a little bit at certain times. You know, Johnny Majors actually was very good about that, believe it or not. Johnny Majors consistently made different hires for staff hires that kept him winning. Nick Saban did it better than anybody.
Yeah, the year they started 0-6, he replaced Ken Donahue with I can't remember who it was, and they ended
guy
up
named Doug Matthews, I think. Funny enough, but then he eventually got Larry. He eventually got Larry Lacewell. That was the big change. Was Larry Lacewell was the brains, and he hired Fuller.
I just don't. Okay, what's more likely, that Tennessee scores 70 in the tournament, or that Rick Barnes is still the head coach when he turns 70 in July?
That they score 70 in a tournament game?
Yes.
The Tennessee, that Rick Barnes is still the head coach in July, but they're going to score 70 in a tournament game.
Okay. I hope so. Don Self, State Farm agent. Don Self, customer service still matters. He is a State Farm agent in Collegedale and Ottawa. Go to donself.net. It's right below donself.net. They'll take care of you. Everybody wants to save money, but you got to remember that, man, if you want to place that claim, you want customer service. How many times will they score 70 or plus? Or he's 69 now. So how many times will they score 69 or more?
That's a question for Hooker's Corner if there ever was one. But
they outscore his age.
Yes, because I think the problem will be, can they get to 80 when another team's red hot from 3? And I'm not sure if they'll be able to consistently get to 80. Because there's always a moment where you got to get to 80 in a game. There's always a game where you got to get to 80.
Giggity. That's what we need. And we need the Ricky from Boys in the Hood.